In Southeast Asia, an ancient form of dark magic has been circulating for generations. Once a woman is hexed by this curse, she will lose her ability to bear children forever. Even if she manages to conceive, the infant will be devoured by a demon before it is even born. And Rina, who has just recently tied the knot, is the unfortunate soul targeted by this very magic, causing her to suffer through one miscarriage after another and losing her right to be a mother for good. The story begins on her wedding day. It should have been the happiest day of her life, but Rina can't find a reason to smile, feeling an eerie force constantly watching her every move. As it turns out, Rina's intuition isn't just a figment of her imagination. Just as she is about to touch up her look in the bridal suite, the mirror in front of her suddenly shatters, and the wedding photo on the wall falls to the floor along with it. But the nightmare doesn't stop there. After Rina places the wedding photo back where it belongs, a bizarre sound echoes from within the room. When she goes back to check, the photo she just put up has plummeted to the ground once again. Before she can even process what's happening, the silhouette of an old man suddenly flashes past the door. Rina follows the figure to the backyard, where she discovers a creepy black jar sitting right in the center, appearing as though it's being used for some sort of ritual. To make matters worse, the jar isn't just filled with flowers and black liquid, but also contains the carcass of a rat that has been dead for a long while. Rina's older brother immediately realizes this is no coincidence, and that someone is clearly trying to harm her on purpose. However, Rina brushes it off, thinking her brother is just being paranoid, and proceeds to go on a honeymoon with her new husband, Pram. They specifically choose a villa in the countryside, intending to unwind for a few months and kickstart their plan to have a baby. Yet, almost as soon as they move in, Rina senses that something is wrong with the house. The footprints on the living room rug are an exact match for the ones left by the old man on her wedding day. She tries to tell herself it's just a coincidence, but a few days later, that creepy old man actually shows up inside her house. Even more unsettling is the fact that this man in black is completely invisible to everyone except Rina. Pram initially assumes Rina is just hallucinating due to high levels of stress, but only Rina knows that the figure she sees isn't some trick of the mind, but a very real demon. One night, while Rina is taking a shower alone, she is once again cornered by the sinister old man. He lurks in the corner of the bathroom, peeping on her during the entire process. Later, as Rina tries to fall asleep, the old man escalates his torment by lunging at her directly from the ceiling. Despite Rina being scared out of her wits, Pram still firmly believes his wife is just overwhelmed and only needs some good rest to recover. With a husband who refuses to believe her, Rina has no choice but to suffer in silence and try to get through the honeymoon. After 2 agonizing months, they finally receive some good news. Rina is pregnant. But before they can even celebrate, the evil old man reaches out his claws toward Rina once again. Using the same old tricks, the old man invades her dreams while she is at her weakest. He uses his razor-sharp claws to rip open Rina's stomach, forcefully extracting the unborn infant and swallowing it whole right in front of her. Waking up in a cold sweat, Rina is hit with a wave of excruciating pain in her abdomen. After a trip to the hospital, it is confirmed that the baby has indeed passed away in the womb, exactly as it happened in her nightmare. The scars on her stomach only make Rina more certain that the old man is a tangible demon. So, she goes behind her husband's back and hires a medium named Mr. Narto to perform an exorcism. After surveying the house, Mr. Narto immediately concludes that Rina's miscarriage was caused by a sorceress curse. Although he cannot identify the specific type of sorcery yet, Mr. Narto, with his years of experience, promises to keep Rina safe for the time being. He gives her several bottles of holy water to place in every corner of the house and tells her to pray diligently every day so the demon cannot enter. Sure enough, after following his instructions, Rina lives in peace for the next few months without seeing that sinister old man again. But the peace doesn't last. One day, Pram discovers the holy water hidden around the house and becomes furious, believing their home is perfectly fine and doesn't need protection from such deities. He ignores Rina's explanations and tosses all the holy water into the trash, claiming that as long as he is by her side, she will be safe. Clearly, Pram is being far too naive. The very night the holy water is thrown away, Rina is targeted by the old man once more. And this time, the old man doesn't just appear in her dreams, but manifests in the physical world. Even the skeptical Pram witnesses the true face of the old man with his own eyes. Coupled with the discovery of a mysterious jar on the roof, he begins to wonder if the medium was right, and if Rina is indeed under a curse. After thinking it over, Pram decides to put aside his prejudice and seek help from Mr. Narto alongside Rina. Mr. Narto examines the soil inside the jar and determines that it all originates from graves and is mixed with a significant amount of rat blood. This is no ordinary sorcery, but an incredibly ancient black blood curse. Once a person is targeted by this magic, their bloodline and descendants will be severed forever. Consequently, no matter how hard they try, it is impossible for them to ever have a child of their own. While Mr. Narto does not know the identity of the caster, he is certain that the curse is anchored to a central medium. As long as they can locate that specific object, they have a chance to break the curse and allow Rina to return to a normal life. However, finding the medium used to transmit the curse is no easy feat, as they must first find the person who cast it to learn the item's location. Rina suddenly recalls that before she started dating Pram, she had been in a relationship with a man named Yudi, which ended on very bad terms. She suspects that the person responsible for this nightmare is very likely Yudi. Under Mr. Narto's protection, Rina and her husband begin searching for Yudi's whereabouts, while trying to maintain a temporarily stable life. During these few months of relative peace, Rina unexpectedly becomes pregnant again, welcoming their second chance at a child. But their priority remains finding Yudi as quickly as possible to extract the location of the curse medium and destroy it, which is the only way Rina can hope to save the baby in her womb. Yet, just as they exhaust all their resources and finally track down Yudi's workplace, fate plays a cruel joke on them.
Yudi pun boten wonten.
Boten wonten.
Setengah tahun kepungkur. Yudi ketiban musibah. Tambang kapur dan priki. Tebingnya ambruk.
Although they fail to locate Yudi, Mr. Narto concludes from the situation that Yudi was not the one who cast the curse after all. His logic is that the curse is supposed to be lifted the moment the caster passes away. Since the curse still persists, it means the true culprit is actually someone else entirely. With their only lead gone, they are left at a loss and can only focus on protecting Rina so she can deliver the baby safely. However, as Rina's belly grows larger by the day, the power of the curse becomes increasingly violent. The eerie old man even begins to ignore the holy water, breaking directly into Rina's home in another attempt to devour her child. Fortunately, with Mr. Narto's intervention this time, Rina escapes the ordeal and successfully gives birth to her child. But Mr. Narto's grim expression lets Rina know that as long as the curse remains, that ghostly old man will never stop hunting their daughter. The last time the old man claimed Rina's child was during the 7th week of pregnancy, and now, this child is destined to be taken away once she turns 7 years old. Rina and her husband spend the next 7 years living in constant fear with their daughter Dwi. Throughout this time, they try every possible method, but still fail to find any clues about the person who cast the curse. As the 7-year cycle approaches, Dwi's behavior begins to turn bizarre, as she frequently wanders into the outskirts to dig up animal carcasses with a knife. Furthermore, Dwi becomes disturbingly cold toward Rina, showing no emotion even after cutting Rina's palm with a blade. The most horrifying detail is that she secretly brings the dead animals back to her room and feasts on them as if they were gourmet delicacies. Watching her daughter lose her soul to madness, Rina is devastated, and Pram is consumed by anxiety. Finally, with no other options left, they pin their hopes on a sorcerer with even more formidable powers named Yai. Yai uses yellow rice and holy water to seal the doors and windows, serving as the first line of defense. Then, he and Rina's family stand guard over Dwi to ward off the old man's assault. However, the first defense is easily shattered by the old man as a powerful wind blows away the yellow rice and the holy water is incinerated. A gale begins to howl around them, and Dwi suddenly sits bolt upright as if possessed by a malevolent spirit. Seeing this, Yai immediately begins his ritual, and they huddle together back to back while chanting spells to drive the old man away. Unfortunately, the evil entity's power is far too great, breaking their formation in an instant before locking his sights on Mr. Narto. It was Mr. Narto who sabotaged his plans all those years ago, which is why the old man intends to unalive the now elderly Mr. Narto first. The old man's next target is Dwi. Fortunately, Yai is prepared and still possesses a bottle of life-saving holy water. After being struck by the holy water, the old man is consumed by rage and immediately shifts his focus to Yai. But he doesn't realize that this is exactly the trap Yai has set for him. While the demon's attention is fully occupied by Yai, Aryo suddenly ambushes him from behind, piercing the old man's body with a ritual tool. Yai then seizes the moment to drench the old man with all the remaining holy water. Unable to withstand the burning sensation of the holy water, the evil old man finally dissipates into nothingness. However, this is only a temporary reprieve, as the demon will surely return once his strength is restored. To permanently break the curse, Yai solemnly interrogates Rina and Pram, asking if they have ever deeply offended anyone in the past. He warns them that if they don't tell the truth, the curse will never be lifted, and their child will eventually be taken by the old man. With the situation spiraling out of control, Pram finally reveals the secret he has kept buried for years to save his daughter. He confesses that the caster is most likely a woman named Mawar, with whom he had an affair while he was still dating Rina. Mawar was his colleague at the time, and their professional relationship quickly evolved into a romantic one. She told Pram that she was willing to quit her job and become his full-time wife if he would have her. But Mawar never realized that she was nothing more than a temporary plaything to Pram. In Pram's heart, Rina, who has been by his side for many years, is his ultimate destination. Since a decade of emotions cannot be easily discarded, Pram abandoned the woman who loved him and chose to marry Rina instead. Driven by pure hatred, Mawar cast this venomous curse on Pram to ensure his bloodline would end with him. After hearing the truth, Yai immediately begins a ritual to track her down. He soon discovers Mawar's address. Yai and Pram don't hesitate for a single second and immediately drive to Mawar's residence. There, they begin searching for the curse medium in the backyard. But in a moment of carelessness, they are ambushed and knocked unconscious by Mawar before being tied up. Staring at her former lover, Mawar no longer feels any affection, only boundless contempt and mockery. With a triumphant smile, she claims that as long as Pram's family is tormented by the curse, she will remain happy. Just as Mawar is about to strike Yai, Pram uses the last of his strength to knock her down and rushes to the backyard to find the black ceramic jar. Although the medium is located, Yai has lost too much blood and can no longer complete the ritual for them. Meanwhile, back at Rina's house, Aryo tries his best to fend off the old man. But after several rounds of brutal combat, he is eventually overwhelmed and meets a tragic end. Left defenseless and desperate to protect her daughter, Rina sacrifices her own life to the demon in exchange for her daughter's safety. When Pram finally arrives home, Rina has already been taken by the demon, leaving Dwi sitting alone in a daze. Staring at his traumatized daughter and his lifeless wife, Pram reaches his breaking point and drives back to Mawar's house to end this once and for all. He knows that if he doesn't eliminate this heartless woman, she will only find new ways to torment them. To ensure his daughter is never targeted again, Pram decides to personally take the life of his former lover. The two of them immediately descend into a violent struggle. Mawar is fully aware that Pram has come to unalive her, so she grabs a machete, determined to take him down with her. Even after her right hand is severed and falls to the ground, she remains relentless, picking up the blade with her left hand to continue her assault. However, due to extreme blood loss, Mawar begins to lose consciousness and is eventually finished off by Pram's blade. With Mawar's death, the black blood curse is finally lifted, and Dwi instantly regains her vitality. Sadly, Pram and Rina are not there to witness this joyful moment. After dealing with Mawar, Pram feels his mission is complete, and his only wish is for his daughter to live a happy life. As for himself, he feels his sins are too heavy to bear, and without Rina, his life no longer has any meaning. He chooses to take his own life to join Rina in the next world. After everything she endured, Dwi learns to cherish her life deeply and faces the future with a positive attitude despite losing her parents. Years later, she stands on the podium at her university graduation ceremony as an honor student.
Tapi ada satu hal yang selalu terngiang di hati saya. Keinginan mereka supaya saya bisa bermanfaat bagi banyak orang. Hari ini saya persembahkan kelulusan ini untuk mereka.
That is all for today. See you in the next episode.